Call 911. Grampy is on the roof again. Okay. This is a nice little low slope 1970s gable. I think it's the 1970s. 70s or 80s. Composition shingle roof. Looks like it's a recent installation. If you look down here on the corner, you see some metal flashing, and that means that they've done some repair where the fascia board was in direct contact with the roof covering. You'll also notice that we don't have rain gutters. Alright, and code says that the water coming off of the roof should be directed, okay, to some kind of an encapsulation system. This is, you know, to a culvert, to a city drainage. This is your yard. This is the water. This is your yard. This is mud. Okay, so we don't have mud over here. So the water is just kind of going to this low spot in the yard because it wasn't diverted off of the roof covering like code says. I don't do code inspections, but these are underlayment. We don't have a starter course. Our underlayment right here is underneath the drip edge. See how the shingles cascade down on top of each other so that the water runs down on top of here. Well, the underlayment underneath, you know, this is kind of like the blanket, you know, this is kind of like the bed cover. And this is like the sheet underneath here, the underlayment. And it's supposed to come down over the edge of the drip edge so that any water that gets behind the shingles comes down the underlayment, which is designed to do that, and sheds the water over the drip edge. If it goes under the drip edge, then water will collect underneath the drip edge and cause this to rot. Just like that rotted because it was too close to the shingles, and I just went in and, you know, put a little piece of metal on there, and that won't rot. You see, this roof is not perfectly flat like a pane of glass. It's like a pool table, and neither is theirs or theirs. Okay, the improper term for that I like to use is called deflection. If it becomes excessive, then it's going to be sumping. Alright, now I have a clue. I was in the garage earlier and kind of looked up into the attic space. I saw that we got plywood roof decking. That should have been replaced when the roof was replaced. Alright, I'm stepping in the low spots. I want to see if it bounces. I got about 180 pounds going on here. We're moving on up here, and what we see in here is a little bit of impact mark. A little bit of impact marking. Something was up here hitting it. Something like frozen ice. Something like hail.
When did you say you would be able to come back out here?
Friday?
Friday?
Yeah.
Okay, Friday.
And so and they did not replace these because it requires it requires a permit to replace the roof covering. But what we hear is that we're not going to replace these because we had to kind of, you know, pull a different permit, I guess. I don't know. So we're coming on along. Feels pretty good underfoot. Turbine's been replaced. But something's been going on here because our valley doesn't match. So we've had repairs since this roof isn't that old. Didn't appear to be that old. The front is newer than the back. Is that what's going on? Went a little ways, huh? What's going on? This roof doesn't look so new. We've had repairs here. And this very interesting. I don't know what the whole story is. Satellite dish should not be attached directly to the roof covering. I have baked inside of your report an illustration, an explanation of a bracket, a mounting bracket that's supposed to be used to install satellite dish to help prevent moisture from going, help prevent your roof from leaking. And that's the only place you'll ever see that device. You're not going to see it on your roof. You're going to see it on their roof. I got some blown shingles off of that roof. Okay. So we're moving on along. Coming down. We're over the garage now. And that's a metal patio cover that's manufactured. Okay, so they didn't have a lot of opportunity to mess that up. But we'll look at it a little closer because we're lookers. Come over here to our fireplace chimney and we'll see between the bricks that we're missing some mortar here. Alright, so if you're missing mortar, then water can get in. They bothered to paint this chimney. They bothered to, check this out, to redo the crown. Look at all that fresh mortar up there. You got a cap. And they didn't bother to repoint these bricks. They didn't bother to remortar between that. Look at that. Look at that. You're just asking for more water infiltration. It's just a request. Coming on along, I still see the paper. This repair is newer than this repair, so they repaired this twice, which is newer than this roof. So the front of the house, and I can see the old color over here. The sun's a little different. Man, there's just a lot of things going on up here. This is your soil stack, okay? And, it's your main vent for the plumbing. And I say soil stack because it's connected to the commodes and soil, and it's a kind word for all the same. Alright, this right here, I used to call that dimpling. Nobody challenged me, but I learned that this is actually called buckling. So your jacket is buckling. Water sits in here and causes it to deteriorate faster than it normally would. That's a pretty easy fix. And we painted our roof and we painted the chimney. I guess which way was the wind blowing that day, huh? Which way was the wind blowing? And these shingles don't match those shingles. Look at that. That's incredible. We're going good, yeah. Now see this flashing right here? It's supposed to be bent into each other. And that's not so bad. But look at that. And it's supposed to be sealed. You think wind-driven rain can blow up in there? I do. And when we come down here, anytime the roof covering terminates to a perpendicular wall, we should have kick-out flashing so that water isn't directed around and down that corner. It should be directed onto this roof and taken down to that roof rain gutter. Now that's the only rain gutter I've seen right there. That's probably not enough. And we keep on walking. We want to know. I was kind of looking for some hail damage on the metal roof, but I'm not seeing it. Looks like it held up pretty good, if it experienced any. This is your patio cover. This is the kitchen vent pipe. Condition is that in. It's getting old and worn. Coming over here, this is a kitchen vent fan. It's kind of bent over a little bit, but that shouldn't affect its operation. We got enough going on over here. We got plenty of going on, a little deflection. Across here, now we're over here to the new roof. Kind of pan back around. I see that in all its glory. This attic probably has gable vents, I don't know. If we've got turbine vents, we've got a mixed vent system. And this shows you that this is short-circuiting. So the whole attic is not being ventilated equally. Alright? Because you got a mixed system, which is a code violation. Just saying. All I gotta do is get down safely and